Welcome to Know Your Symptoms. We've all seen the warnings, the graphic images on cigarette packs, the public service announcements. Smoking kills. It's a message broadcast globally, yet the habit maintains a grip on millions worldwide. Why? Because the true extent of smoking's damage remains a hidden enemy, silently wreaking havoc beneath the surface. With every puff, smokers inhale a cocktail of over 7,000 chemicals, many of them toxic, and over 70 are known to cause cancer. This isn't just about stained teeth and bad breath, folks. This is about life and death. We'll explore the immediate damage, the long-term consequences, and the shocking truth about how this habit affects not just smokers themselves, but those around them. Get ready to see smoking in a whole new light. Many smokers believe they have control over their habit. They convince themselves that an occasional cigarette or two won't cause any real harm. But here's the hard truth. There's no safe level of exposure to cigarette smoke. Every cigarette, every puff, inflicts damage, slowly chipping away at the body's defenses. Each cigarette is another blow, weakening your organs and increasing your risk of serious health problems. The damage starts immediately. With the first inhale, toxic chemicals enter your lungs, irritating delicate tissues and triggering inflammation. Over time, this can lead to chronic bronchitis, a persistent cough, and shortness of breath. Smoking sets off a chain reaction throughout your body, impacting nearly every organ system. The heart, the circulatory system, the reproductive system. No part of you is immune to the harmful effects of tobacco smoke. The damage often develops slowly, silently, over years or even decades. By the time symptoms appear, it might be too late to reverse the damage. In the next sections, we're going to delve deeper into the specific ways smoking harms your body. This isn't about fear-mongering, but about empowering you with the knowledge you need to make informed decisions about your health. Imagine this. You light up a cigarette, take a deep drag, and feel a sense of relaxation wash over you. But inside your body, a very different story is unfolding. That single inhale introduces a noxious blend of over 7,000 chemicals into your lungs, a veritable toxic symphony that begins wreaking havoc from the moment it makes contact. These chemicals, including heavy metals like arsenic and cadmium, as well as radioactive elements, don't just disappear. They irritate the delicate lining of your lungs, much like sandpaper scraping against a smooth surface. The delicate air sacs in your lungs, responsible for absorbing oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide, bear the brunt of this chemical assault. Remember, every breath you take relies on these tiny air sacs working properly. One of the most well-known dangers of smoking is tar, a sticky brown residue left behind after tobacco burns. Think of it as the residue left in a pipe after smoking, except this pipe is your lungs. With each puff, tar accumulates in your airways, coating the delicate cilia. As tar builds up, these cilia become clogged and sluggish. This allows mucus to pool in your lungs, creating a breeding ground for infection. Remember those tiny air sacs we talked about, the ones responsible for oxygen exchange? As smoking continues, the damage to these delicate structures becomes progressively worse. Their walls break down, reducing their elasticity and ability to expand and contract properly. Imagine trying to inflate a balloon that's lost its elasticity. You have to work harder, blow with more force, just to get a small amount of air in. This is what happens to your lungs when they're damaged by smoking. Each breath becomes a labored effort, a struggle to get the oxygen your body needs. This progressive damage to the air sacs is a hallmark of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, a debilitating and ultimately fatal condition. The scary part? It's entirely preventable. While the impact of smoking on the respiratory system is undeniable, the damage doesn't stop there. The toxic chemicals in cigarette smoke enter your bloodstream and are carried throughout your body, wreaking havoc on virtually every organ system. Your heart, working tirelessly to pump blood, faces a double whammy from smoking. The nicotine in cigarettes causes your heart rate and blood pressure to spike, forcing it to work harder. Meanwhile, carbon monoxide, another deadly gas in cigarette smoke, displaces oxygen in your blood, starving your heart of the very thing it needs to function properly. This constant strain on your cardiovascular system significantly increases your risk of heart attack, stroke, and other life-threatening conditions. Let's talk about your heart, the engine room of your body, tirelessly pumping blood to every single cell. It's a vital organ, yet smoking treats it with utter disregard, subjecting it to a relentless barrage of harmful substances. Nicotine, the addictive culprit in cigarettes, acts as a stimulant, causing your heart rate and blood pressure to skyrocket. This forces your heart to work overtime like a marathon runner constantly sprinting. Over time, this constant strain weakens the heart muscle, making it less efficient at pumping blood. Carbon monoxide, another insidious gas in cigarette smoke, enters your bloodstream and binds to hemoglobin, the molecule responsible for carrying oxygen throughout your body. This reduces the amount of oxygen available to your heart, forcing it to work even harder to compensate for the deficit. Think of your circulatory system as a network of highways, with your blood vessels acting as the roads carrying vital nutrients and oxygen to every corner of your body. Smoking throws a wrench into this intricate system, causing damage that can lead to a whole host of cardiovascular problems. One of the most significant consequences of smoking is atherosclerosis, a condition where plaque, a sticky substance made up of fat, cholesterol, and other substances, builds up inside your arteries. This plaque narrows and hardens your arteries, restricting blood flow and increasing your risk of heart attack and stroke. Smoking also makes your blood stickier, increasing the likelihood of dangerous blood clots forming. The damage inflicted by smoking doesn't stop at your heart and lungs. It's a systemic attack, impacting virtually every organ in your body. From your brain to your bones, smoking leaves a trail of destruction in its wake. Consider your digestive system. Smoking increases your risk of developing various cancers of the mouth, throat, esophagus, stomach, pancreas, and colon. It also raises the likelihood of developing peptic ulcers, painful sores in the lining of your stomach or duodenum. Your bones and joints aren't immune either. Remember those tiny air sacs in your lungs, the ones responsible for oxygen exchange? As smoking continues, the damage to these delicate structures progresses relentlessly, leading to chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD. COPD is an umbrella term for several respiratory diseases including emphysema and chronic bronchitis that cause airflow obstruction and breathing-related problems. The symptoms of COPD, such as shortness of breath, wheezing, and chronic cough, often develop gradually, making it easy to dismiss them as a normal part of aging or simply being out of shape. But with each passing day, the damage worsens, leading to fatigue, difficulty performing everyday activities, and a significantly reduced quality of life. The harmful effects of smoking extend far beyond the smoker themselves. Secondhand smoke, the combination of smoke exhaled by a smoker and the smoke emitted from the burning end of a cigarette, is a silent killer that poses a serious health risk to everyone who breathes it in. Children are particularly vulnerable to the harmful effects of secondhand smoke. Their lungs are still developing, making them more susceptible to respiratory infections, asthma attacks, and ear infections. Exposure to secondhand smoke during childhood can have lifelong consequences, increasing the risk of developing lung cancer, heart disease, and other chronic illnesses later in life. But it's not just children who suffer. We've talked about the damage smoking inflicts on your heart, lungs, and circulatory system. But perhaps the most frightening consequence of smoking is its direct link to cancer. Think back to that toxic symphony of over 7,000 chemicals in every puff of cigarette smoke. Hidden within those chemicals are over 70 known carcinogen substances that can cause cancer. These carcinogens, including arsenic, benzene, and formaldehyde, directly damage your DNA, the very blueprint of your cells. This damage disrupts the normal growth and division of cells, leading to uncontrolled growth and the formation of tumors. While lung cancer is the most well-known cancer associated with smoking, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Smoking has been linked to cancers of the mouth, throat, esophagus, larynx, pancreas, bladder, kidney, liver, stomach, cervix, colon, and rectum. Imagine a hostile army invading your body, attacking multiple organs simultaneously. That's essentially what happens when you smoke. The carcinogens in cigarette smoke are carried through your bloodstream to every corner of your body, wreaking havoc wherever they go. Your mouth and throat, the first point of contact for cigarette smoke, are particularly vulnerable. The constant irritation and inflammation caused by smoking create a breeding ground for cancerous cells to develop. Further down the digestive tract, the esophagus, stomach, and pancreas also face a heightened risk of cancer due to smoking. Remember that DNA damage we talked about? The insidious thing about carcinogens is that they don't just damage the DNA of the cells they come into direct contact with. These harmful substances can alter your genes, leading to mutations that are passed down from one cell to another as they divide. These mutations can accumulate over time, increasing the likelihood of a cell becoming cancerous. Carcinogens disrupt these instructions, introducing errors into the code. Over time, these errors can accumulate, leading to a cell going rogue and multiplying uncontrollably. There's a common misconception that light cigarettes or smoking fewer cigarettes per day somehow reduces the risk of cancer. Let's be clear. There is no safe level of exposure to cigarette smoke. Every cigarette, every puff, exposes your body to a cocktail of carcinogens that can damage your DNA, and increase your risk of developing cancer. Think of it like playing Russian roulette. Each cigarette is a loaded chamber, and you're gambling with your health every time you light up. The longer you smoke and the more cigarettes you smoke, the higher your risk of developing cancer. But even if you've been smoking for years, quitting can significantly reduce your risk. We've talked about the physical damage smoking inflicts, but the true power of this habit lies in its ability to enslave the mind. Nicotine, the addictive substance in cigarettes, hijacks your brain's reward system, keeping you hooked on a cycle of craving and dependence. Think of nicotine as a cunning puppet master, pulling the strings of your brain chemistry. Imagine being trapped in a smoke-filled room, the air thick with toxins, yet unable to find your way out. That's what addiction feels like. A suffocating cycle of cravings, withdrawal symptoms, and repeated relapse. When you try to quit smoking, your body rebels. Nicotine withdrawal symptoms, including irritability, anxiety, difficulty concentrating, increased appetite, and intense cravings, kick in with a vengeance. These symptoms can be so overwhelming that many smokers give in, lighting up just to find relief. This cycle of withdrawal and relapse can be incredibly difficult to break. Each time you give in to a craving, you reinforce the addiction, making it even harder to quit the next time. It becomes a vicious cycle, trapping you in a seemingly inescapable grip. The grip of smoking extends far beyond physical addiction. It weaves itself into the fabric of your life, becoming intertwined with your habits, routines, and even your sense of identity. For many smokers, cigarettes are a constant companion, a crutch to lean on in times of stress, boredom, or celebration. They become a ritual, a way to mark transitions throughout the day, or a way to socialize and connect with others. This psychological dependence can be just as powerful as the physical addiction to nicotine. Even when you manage to overcome the physical withdrawal symptoms, the mental associations and ingrained habits can linger, tempting you to relapse long after you've extinguished your last cigarette. Breaking free from the grip of smoking is a challenging journey, but it is possible. It requires recognizing the multifaceted nature of the addiction, the physical dependence on nicotine, the psychological cravings, and the ingrained habits, and tackling each aspect with a combination of strategies. There are numerous resources available to help you quit, from nicotine replacement therapy and prescription medications to counseling and support groups. These resources can provide the support and guidance you need to navigate the challenges of withdrawal, manage cravings, and develop healthier coping mechanisms. Quitting smoking is not about willpower alone. It's about equipping yourself with the knowledge, tools, and support you need to reclaim your health, your freedom, and your life. It's about breaking the chains of addiction and stepping into a brighter, smoke-free future. We've spent a lot of time talking about the damage smokers inflict on themselves, but the harsh reality is that their habit doesn't respect boundaries. It reaches out with an invisible hand, impacting everyone around them through the insidious threat of secondhand smoke. Remember that toxic cocktail of over 7,000 chemicals in cigarette smoke? Well, when you exhale or a cigarette burns, those chemicals don't just magically disappear. They linger in the air, forming a dangerous brew of toxins that non-smokers are forced to inhale. Secondhand smoke is more than just a nuisance, it's a serious health hazard. In fact, the U.S. Surgeon General has concluded that there is no safe level of exposure to secondhand smoke. That means even brief exposure can be harmful. Children are particularly vulnerable to secondhand smoke. Their lungs are still developing, and they breathe faster than adults, inhaling more harmful chemicals. Exposure increases the risk of respiratory infections, asthma, and ear infections. Studies show increased risk of SIDS, learning problems, and future heart disease. The harmful effects of secondhand smoke extend beyond humans, impacting our beloved pets as well. Pets can suffer health problems from prolonged exposure to cigarette smoke. Our pets share our homes and often cuddle up close to us. If you're smoking indoors, your pets are breathing in those same toxins. This exposure can take a serious toll on their health. The message is clear. Secondhand smoke is a serious health hazard, and it's our responsibility to protect those who can't protect themselves. That means making our homes and cars smoke-free zones and speaking up when we encounter secondhand smoke in public places. If you're a smoker, quitting is the single best thing you can do for your health and the health of those around you. There are countless resources available to help you quit, from nicotine replacement therapy and prescription medications to counseling and support groups. Remember, every cigarette you don't light is a victory for your health and the health of your loved ones. Break free from the grip of this deadly habit and create a healthier, smoke-free environment for everyone. We've covered a lot of ground in this journey, exploring the dark side of a habit that's often glamorized or downplayed. But let's be clear, smoking is not a harmless indulgence. It's a dangerous addiction that robs you of your health, your freedom, and ultimately, your life. From the moment that first puff of smoke hits your lungs, a chain reaction of damage begins. Your respiratory system takes a beating, your heart and blood vessels are put under immense strain, and your risk of developing deadly cancer skyrockets. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. But here's the good news. It's never too late to quit. Your body has an amazing ability to heal itself, and quitting smoking, no matter how long or how much you've smoked, can significantly reduce your risk of developing serious health problems. Quitting smoking is one of the most important decisions you can make for your health, but it's not always easy. Nicotine is a powerful addictive substance, and withdrawal symptoms can be challenging. But here's the thing, you don't have to go it alone. There are countless resources available to help you quit, from nicotine replacement therapy and prescription medications to counseling and support groups. These resources can provide the support and guidance you need to navigate the challenges of withdrawal. Quitting smoking is more than just breaking a physical addiction. It's about making a promise to yourself. It's about taking control of your health and your future. It's about reclaiming your freedom from a habit that has held you captive for far too long. And it's not just about you. When you quit smoking, you're also giving a priceless gift to your loved ones. You're protecting them from the dangers of secondhand smoke and setting a positive example for future generations. Imagine a life free from the constant cravings, the coughing fits, the guilt, and the fear that come with smoking. Imagine breathing deeply without struggling, tasting food with renewed enjoyment, and having more energy to do the things you love. This is the future that awaits you when you choose to quit. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The same is true for quitting smoking. No matter how many times you've tried before, no matter how daunting the task may seem, believe that this time can be different. Start by making a commitment to yourself. Set a quit date and write down your reasons for quitting. Share your decision with your loved ones and ask for their support. Then take that first step and never look back. Your future self will thank you for it.